Guys, we got to talk about Halo Studios. Yes, we are going to talk about Halo Studios because something weird has happened. So the other day, literally yesterday, I spoke about how it is, in my opinion, after experiencing Halo Campaign Evolve, that I feel like Asha Sharma should walk into Halo Studios and give them the Bethesda treatment. They should walk in there. She should walk in there with whoever she's got to walk in there with, sit everybody down, and tell them that what they made was absolute trash and they disappointed family and they need to be let go. Whether it's everybody or whether it's half the amount of people, I'm going to leave that up to the CEO. But ultimately, that's what needs to happen with Halo Studios. And then not even 24 hours later, we get the announcement that Halo Studios is reportedly laying off several employees. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you guys want to see more content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join me every single day, 9 p.m. over on the main channel, where you can catch me live every single day, 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope to see every single one of you there. Now back to the main video. Now, we don't know the exact answer, or we don't know the exact number. The only reason why I know about this is because both Smash JT and also Pirate Nation have posted about this, and we're going to go over everything like that in a second. But realistically, Halo Studios has officially laid people off, and it is glorious. So let's go over this and let's see exactly what's going on, because this is it, right? This is something, and again, guys, keep in mind, Halo Studios, I've said from the beginning, was probably going to be laid off regardless, because Asha Sharma said that they're laying off about, what was it, like 32 to 3,600 employees, give or take, and that they're only laying off 1,600 people at the time they announced it, which was like a month ago. So that means there's another 1,600 people that have to be laid off. So I would not be surprised, I've said this many times, I would not be surprised if Halo Studios was one of those people or one of those studios that were going to be let go. So let's get into it. Pirate Nation says Halo Studios has reportedly laid off several employees shortly after the launch of Halo Campaign Evolve. Multiple developers, including producers as well as a software engineer, have shared on LinkedIn that they're leaving the studio, with some updating their profiles to open to work. One developer said that they spent 6.5 years working on Halo before being affected. Now, I love that Pirate Nation puts the Cortana image next to Master Chief. It's pretty hilarious, but listen, really quick before we continue, I just want to reiterate, okay? Going over Halo Campaign Evolved and playing this game, you know, we're going to continue playing it next week because obviously Wizard wants to keep playing the game. But realistically, playing this game, I got to be honest with you, this game, it just shouldn't exist. I really don't know what else to say other than this game should not exist, because unfortunately, it's just one of those games that when you play it, you sit down and you play it, you almost wish you never experienced Halo prior to that in any capacity, because realistically, that's what this game is for. This game is for people that have never experienced Halo, and they're hoping to rewrite the history of Halo with whatever the fuck this game was supposed to be. Right? This game should have been way better than it was. This game should not have had the level of struggles that it had. And it just proves that Halo Studios as a whole are filled with people that are just incapable of making anything related to a Halo franchise whatsoever, or anything for that matter. Like, I have to question their ability as developers. I really do, because seeing how the game performs and seeing all the problems the game has and seeing the creative liberties that they've taken with the franchise, I just have to question, like, what did they really do here that's actually benefited this studio in any capacity, right? Noir ends up posting on X, layoffs at Halo Studios start today. Fired Bethesda developers are yelling into the void, which we went over the other day, by the way. EA is getting ready for layoffs, which we're going to go over later on in the segment. Bungie got gutted in June, which we talked about. We laughed at that. Shitty artsy studios at Xbox getting kicked out. Ubisoft killed the studio in Canada, which I didn't even get to cover, ironically. And this is only starting. Should have left my games alone. And This video, this video is kind of funny. But truthfully, yes, like realistically, this is where we're at, right? And they can get mad all they want. They can blame the chuds. They can blame toxic YouTubers. They could blame whatever they want to blame. At the end of the day, it's been very proven that your game is not connecting with people. And the reason for that is of your own doing. It has nothing to do with the people talking about your game. It has nothing to do with the people playing your game. It has to do with you and the way that you've marketed your game and the way that you actually decided to design your game. Nobody decided to make you put Lieutenant Williams in there. Nobody decided for you to make Cortana look the way that she did. Nobody decided for you to race swap and sex swap half of the people on the initial ship in Halo because of reasons. Nobody told you to do this. You guys are the ones that did all this. So I think it's insane that you won't take accountability for the way that you actually made the game. I really think that's crazy. But anyway, so let's continue. So I thought this post was pretty funny. Now, Smash ended up posting this picture here where he says, update, it's happening. Layoffs are beginning to roll through on LinkedIn for Halo Studios. This is just the beginning confirmed. And if you look at this picture here, you got this guy, Paul Morris, saying, every player has a game they'll never forget. That's why I chose this career. I want to help create games that bring smiles to players and create memories they'll carry with them for years. That's what drives me. Today, I learned my time at Halo Studios will be coming to an end, following the successful launch of our latest game, Halo Campaign Evolved. Now, I don't know if like he's trying to say successful launch in the sense of like they just launched it. You know, I don't think this game is successful at all. Personally, speaking strictly about the numbers and whatnot, I think it's pretty obvious that this game is not successful. You know, we talked about it yesterday. If you were to believe Circana, which again, take it with a grain of salt, but if you were to believe their numbers, only 1% of the active PlayStation user base actually played Halo. That kind of lines up with where the PlayStation Store activity was for the game. Outside of the initial release, the game never really made it that high on the PlayStation Store list. And Xbox, same thing. They only had about 8% of active users playing Halo, which again is a decent amount, but realistically is nowhere near where it should be. Halo is literally Xbox, right? Even though the game has been hoarded out to PlayStation, and even though this game, in my opinion, was made for PlayStation users, at the end of the day, Halo was Xbox at some point, and now, unfortunately, it just isn't. Right? I feel like with Halo, this should be the game that everybody on Xbox is playing. Everybody on Xbox is supporting. Everybody's down to play Halo. But the problem is that you made a single player Halo, no multiplayer, nothing whatsoever that you can share outside of like co-op. It just doesn't hit the same way. And not only that, you also have a game that's available on Game Pass, if I'm not mistaken. Halo is available Game Pass day one. So there's that problem when it comes to sales. It's the same exact problem we've been talking about over and over and over regarding Game Pass. People just chose to unfortunately not support this game in the level that it needed to be. And I guarantee you the amount of money that was spent on this game is astronomical. I can only imagine. On top of that being a remake, which is hilarious in and of itself. You're literally remaking this game that's been remastered or remade before multiple times, and you apparently can't even be good at copying your own homework. Granted, it's not your own homework. This is homework that people left behind for you to copy from many decades ago, from people who are way better at their job than you are. You can't even copy homework, bro. It's honestly crazy that you can't even do that. So anyway, he says, today I learned my time at Halo Studios will be coming to an end after our successful launch of the latest game, Halo Campaign Evolved. I know this is one of the most challenging job markets our industry has seen, and I know the road ahead won't be easy, but I'm not done, and my purpose has not changed. Okay, my purpose. My problem, though, with this is that you're trying to, like, these guys are trying to make it seem as if there's just, like, there's this weird, like, cloud, right? Follow along with me for a second. They're talking about this industry as if there's just, like, this weird fucking like ominous cloud that just for some reason is targeting the gaming industry and is somehow contributing to people getting fired. I don't know how else to explain it other than these people like when it comes to accountability, it's like they all want to treat it as if it's just this weird fucking cloud that's just overcoming the gaming industry. And it's like, yeah, it's a really tough time in our industry right now. Why is it a tough time? Why is it a tough time in your industry right now? Oh, because, you know, greedy executives and stuff. Guys, why? Why is it a tough time right now? After a while, you kind of have to sit there and admit that perhaps you contributed to this to some extent. I'm not telling you to take the blame for everything, obviously, but at some point in time, you got to sit down and say, maybe we had something to do with this shit. Maybe we ended up causing a situation where, unfortunately, perhaps we got a little bit ahead of ourselves. Maybe we were a little bit too ideologically driven. Perhaps we were too busy focused on making video games. They were for people that didn't actually want to play the game. I know we were trying to reach new audiences, but maybe we shouldn't have abandoned our previous audience while we were going for new audiences, because guess what? You could actually do that, right? I know it's weird. For these people, it's weird. Like they can't live in a world where you can actually go for new players while not shitting on your previous players. I know it's weird, but it's possible. Okay? It's absolutely possible. But for some reason, for these people, 99% of the time, it's not possible. They think in order to get new players, they got to abandon and shit on whoever came before that. I don't know why that is. But again, maybe perhaps we could just sit here and admit that maybe we had something to do with this. Right, that's realistically the conversation that needs to happen, but it's not happening. All it is them saying, well, you know, it's a tough industry right now. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? Maybe it's a tough industry because you guys wasted so much goddamn money. Maybe you thought that the money was infinite, but unfortunately for you and your companies that you work for, the money is not infinite. It doesn't matter if you're subsidized by a company like Xbox, realistically, like a company like Microsoft, realistically, at the end of the day, the money runs dry at some point. If you're not making money and you're blowing money on everything, at some point, shit's gonna hit the fan at some point. And we are at that point, which, by the way, it has taken many years to get to this point. Probably like 10 years plus to get to this point. But realistically, like a little under 10 years to get to this point. But that is many, many years of paid salaries. That is many, many years of very confident employees. That is many years of people feeling so safe because they had an insane amount of subsidization that was keeping them afloat. And now that that money is gone, now suddenly, well, it's just a tough time right now. What does that even mean, bro? Anyway, so after 6.5 years working on Halo and dodging just as many rounds of layoffs, it has finally caught up to me. I have nothing but love for Halo and for the folks at the studio. This is just a tough reality in the gaming industry right now. What does that even mean? A tough reality in the gaming industry. It's like, bro, if this is the reality of the gaming industry, what did you guys do to contribute to it? Because nobody wants to sit there and say, yup, you know what? We kind of had a hand to play in this. You know, he says he's open to new roles, blah, 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 whatever. During his time, he says he's had the honor of supporting multiple amazing teams, ranging from art, networking, localization, narrative, and being the product owner of Halo Infinite's social multiplayer pillar. Well, anytime I see localization, I immediately think like, okay, here we go, right? So again, guys, overheard at Halo Studios, I'm just a stack of excuses over here. Hoo-wee, that's not looking good, right? So here, look, one of two things happen, all right? Either this was planned from the get-go, which is definitely possible, right? This was planned from the get-go, and I do kind of believe that this was planned from the get-go. I believe that, you know, Asher Sharma had the other 1,600 people, some of it being Halo Studios planned, and they're only finding out today after their game released. I think that was part of the plan. Or maybe she realized how bad the game's performing, and she said, all right, that's it. That was your last chance. That was your last chance. That's it. Like, how many chances do you want? How many chances do you feel like you deserve? How many chances before you realize, like, shit, maybe this is not working out? Now, the sad thing is that I don't think 343 Industries, aka Halo Studios, I don't think they're going to go anywhere. I don't think they're going to close down. I don't think they're going to completely shutter the studio. I think that they're going to be reduced probably by about 25 to 35%, give or take. I think they're going to get a pretty big reduction of their force, and they're going to try to work on that upcoming Halo game that they don't even know. They don't even have a plan for. They literally have no plan for anything at Halo Studios in terms of a brand new Halo game. The only thing they have plans for are remakes. So these motherfuckers that are just plainly copying homework, they can't even do that properly. There's no guarantee they're even going to make it to Halo 3 or anything beyond that for that matter. But they had plans to remake the first 3 games, so we'll see what ends up happening there. But again, realistically, guys, we saw this coming. We all did. We all saw this coming. We knew it was going to happen, and we're here. And I wouldn't be surprised if within a couple of days we end up hearing the exact number of people that were let go. If it's anything less than 25%, I'd be really shocked. I would be really, really shocked. So we'll see. We'll follow up with it, and we'll see what ends up happening from there.